It's time to bring in Florida Congressman Connie Mack. He is offering a one-cent solution for the federal budget. The plan would cut 1 penny from every dollar spent over the next 6 years. Congressman Mack is right here in New York. Congressman, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. It's great being with you.
Maybe I'm simplifying this, but you want to cut 1% out of all spending each year for the next 6 years, and that gets us in the black. That's it?
That's it. It's pretty simple, isn't it? So think about it. We'll take 1 penny out of every dollar, every federal dollar, every year for 6 years. That's it. 1 penny.
Right.
People who are watching the show today, they've had to do much more drastic things with their home budget than 1 penny out of every dollar. Businesses all across America have had to do a lot worse than just 1 penny out of every dollar. So what we're saying is 1 penny out of every federal dollar. We cap spending at 18% of GDP in the 7th year, and in the 8th year we balance the budget. At the end of 10 years, we cut $7.5 trillion.
Now, Tracy brought us that big number. You were sitting there when she brought us the big $3.8 trillion. You cut 1% out of $3.8 trillion, and I think, doing my math, I think that's $380 billion, isn't it?
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
but here's the thing: is not an impossible cutting target for 1 year.
No, and if we continued the spending we're on now, you know, we can't sustain this. And everything that Tracy that you went through, she's so right. With the spending that we've seen over the last 2 years, 4 years, 6 years, I mean, this isn't just in the Obama administration and the Bush administration we saw spending out of control. So that we've got a lot of money out there that has been spent. Right now, the Democrats' plan is to spend more and tax more. What I'm saying is let's just take 1 penny out of every federal dollar and balance the budget.
And by the way, my math was wrong. 1% of 3.8 trillion is 38 billion. I'm sorry about that.
That's right.
You knew I was wrong, didn't you?
Well,
you're just such a nice guy you wouldn't say it.
It's a lot of money either way you look at it, but it's not more than what families have had to do and what businesses have had to do. And why in Washington there's this sentiment that the money is Washington's money, that somehow Washington's earned it. It's not Washington's money, it's our money. Okay. And we give it to the federal government.
Does your plan, though, it seems like it puts you somewhere in between the Tea Party and maybe the Democrats. In other words, it's a lot of money, but it's not necessarily enough money to prevent the catastrophe that it seems like we're heading toward from the Tea Party's point of view, and from the Democrats who love to do any spending cuts. So how are you going to work this idea amongst your colleagues?
Well, first of all, I think the Tea Party will be very happy with this plan when they look at it. Cutting $7.5 trillion, balancing the budget. I balance the budget faster than, let's say, the Ryan budget. So, you know, I think people will look at it. And you're right, Democrats won't like it because it doesn't include spending more or taxing more. I mean, it's that simple.
It's just the mentality drives me nuts. We've said it here that it should be 5% across the board for everybody, because nobody wants, you know, don't take my entitlement away, but you can take yours, it's okay. So for you to say 1% across the board, for them not to agree to this, it's an embarrassment, actually, that we have elected leaders who can't agree to 1%.
It's amazing, isn't
it?
That people out there, that members of Congress would look at this and go, 1% is too drastic. You know, when I first introduced this bill to my colleagues, I took 100 pennies, right, $1, and I put them on the table. And I said, are you willing to just cut 1? I mean, think about that. I think that the visual is so powerful that it's just 1 penny out of every dollar.
1 penny out of every dollar, every year for 6 years.
That's right.
That would reduce projected spending by $7.5 trillion. So instead of going that way, it would go that way.
That's right.
So your gap is $7.5 trillion out at the end of the time.
That's correct.
Have you got a formal proposal to that effect on the floor of the House?
We do. I've got a bill.
What's your chances? I mean, what kind of support are you getting?
Well, first of all, I think it'll play well into the debt ceiling discussion.
Okay.
And what I've said and what many other members have said is we will not even think about voting for the debt ceiling increase without balancing the budget. So what I've said, and I believe that there's a group of 100 members that are going to sign a letter that says we want a balanced budget amendment, we want my bill, and there's another cap bill out there as well. So those 3 things, if we do those 3 things, we will vote for the debt ceiling. But I have one other twist, and that is an automatic rollback. So in other words, we raise the debt ceiling to get through the spending that happened in the past, but then as soon as we lower spending, we roll it right back to where it is.
Are you running for president in 2016 or 2020?
I'm running for Congress.
Wonderful guy, great politician. Connie Mack, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.